Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. So I haven't really been posting a whole lot of videos lately, and that's because behind the scenes, locally, I've been focusing on a particular project called Straight Path Academy. About a year ago, we announced this project. We want to establish an Islamic school in Jacksonville, Florida, and we've reached the point where we are trying to purchase a property. Now, so much has transpired regarding this project over the past year, but without being too long-winded, I kind of want to summarize and highlight 3 specific points that go into establishing a project like this, whether it be an Islamic school, a masjid, or the likes. So the first thing you need is a demand. Is there a need for an Islamic school? I would say not only is there a need for an Islamic school, but I would say this should be our main priority, and this is why I'm making it my main priority. Unfortunately, right now, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Muslim children going to public schools, and as a result, step by step, they are being called away from Islam. They are in an environment that is harming their iman. So providing for them the best Islamic school possible should be of the utmost priority. So once the demand is apparent, next you need people who are capable of fulfilling that demand, who know how to run an Islamic school, who know how to teach, who know about the religion so we can make sure that Islam is implemented in the school. And I would say that alhamdulillah, Straight Path Academy has such a team. Not only do the people involved personally have experience establishing Islamic schools and teaching in Islamic schools, but because this is such a public project, there are people from all over the country, even all over the world, who are reaching out to help and support such a project. So there is a demand for such a project, and we currently have a team of individuals who can properly run such a project. But that leads us to step 3, and this is where we currently are. And the third step is we need funding. If we are going to purchase a property to run the Islamic school, of course you need funds in order to purchase a property. And I'd like to further elaborate regarding my experience when it comes to this. Now, it's no secret that in this society, the main way that people purchase property is through interest. Of course, as Muslims, dealing with riba is haram. Now, thus far, jazakumAllahukhairan everyone for your donations. We've raised around $300,000. However, purchasing a suitable property is going to cost anywhere between $750,000 to, let's say, $1.5 million. And for the past several months, I've been looking at all kinds of different properties. I've been talking to real estate agents. And if we were going to deal with interest, the $300,000 that we raised could potentially get us a loan of $3 million. And if we had $3 million, we could have not only already purchased a property, but we could have purchased a huge, extravagant property. We could already have the school open and functioning. However, this is something that we are not going to do. Therefore, we have to fundraise. Now, aside from the obvious challenges that come along with fundraising, when it comes to fundraising for a specific property, it can be even more tricky. And this is because, for example, if you want to purchase a specific building and you show people that building, you have drone footage, you can say, look, imagine we purchased this property, your money is going to go towards this specific property. People are much more likely and enthusiastic about donating. However, if you fundraise for a specific property without already having some sort of contract, then somebody else might come along and purchase that property before you raise enough funds. And this is specifically what happened to us when we first launched the project. There was a building that had been sitting there for 6 years. We were in negotiations regarding purchasing that building. However, if we did go into a contract and we didn't raise the funds in time, then we would potentially lose tens of thousands of dollars. So while we were fundraising, eventually somebody else came in and they purchased the property. So this is why, even though right now we have several properties in mind that we're considering and that we're looking at, we're not in a position to really advertise those specific buildings. And because we're not willing to deal with interest, we can't take the $300,000 that we currently have and get a loan. Therefore, right now we're in this position where we need to fundraise. We know that we need probably at least $750,000. Yet until we have enough money to comfortably sign a contract regarding a specific property without dealing with interest, we don't want to really publicly advertise any of the potential properties that we're currently looking at. So as you can see, this is one of the challenges of such a project, and this is also why I think so many people actually fall into using interest. Because everything in this society will try to encourage you to work with interest, and they make it very enticing. And it's to the extent that some of the real estate agents that I've spoken to, they've told me about how not just Muslims, but even other religious groups, when it comes to purchasing property, even if their religion prohibited dealing with interest, they will find ways to weasel their way around such teachings. So they'll deal with interest, but they won't call it interest. Or they'll argue that the ends justify the means. However, dealing with interest is something that we're not going to consider. And inshallah, if we raise enough funds, it's something that we don't need to consider. In closing, there are two last things I'd like to mention. Two calls to action. Number one, this YouTube channel, Allahumma barak, we just reached 177,000 subscribers. If every subscriber donated $5, then we would easily be able to purchase a property, inshallah. Now, I know that's not a realistic expectation because a small percentage of the subscribers watch the video and an even smaller percentage actually donate. However, the reason I'm saying that is because I don't want anybody to belittle their contribution. Let's say that this video gets 10,000 views. If every single person who watches this video donates $10, then that's $100,000. But the second final point I wanted to make is that usually when it comes to projects like this, or a masjid even, they're oftentimes funded by just a handful of people who make the biggest donations. So if we just had a handful of people who would be willing to donate, let's say $100,000, if Allah blessed them with such wealth, and they wanted to make such a big contribution, then this is also a very feasible way to reach our goal. I should also mention that Straight Path Academy is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so your donations are tax deductible. So anybody who might be interested in donating more than, let's say, $10,000, even if it's an Islamic loan, if you're interested in donating $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, then please check the link in the description to fill out a form. This, inshallah, will help us get in contact with people who are interested in perhaps making a large donation. So for example, if 10 wealthy people reach out expressing that they are interested in potentially donating $100,000 each, then this will give us a better idea regarding how much funding we actually have. Whereas individuals who are interested in donating in the tens, hundreds, or thousands can do so on GoFundMe, it's probably better for the bigger donations to be discussed behind the scenes. So that does it for this video. Anybody who's interested in making a donation of, let's say, $10,000 or more, please check the link in the description and fill out the form. And anyone else who is interested in contributing financially, then it's very much appreciated for you to donate via GoFundMe. JazakumAllahukhairan, everyone, for your support. And inshallah, I'm going to update everyone regarding this project a lot more frequently. We really want to purchase a property as soon as possible and get this project underway. May Allah make it easy for us. May Allah accept from us. JazakumAllahukhairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.